Hello and welcome everybody, this is TP Gaming coming to you today with a tutorial. Question that I've been asked: TP, how do you always do your schedules? TP, how can I change these? TP, wow, you did a Sam F's party trip to Vegas, and how does the computer say that? Well, today we're going to find out. It's not that difficult, and I hope you will enjoy. So let's get right into it. It doesn't matter whether you have Steam or whether you have just the feel there. These are the ones that you'll actually be looking for. Let me just get these out of here. So we have, these are the paths that you would need to go. Yep, this is enough. So if you are on the feel there, so you have not Steam, but you just have feel there, you will go into your disk, wherever your program file 86 is on, feel there, Tower 3D Pro, extensions, airfields, and in your airfields you choose the airport that you would like to modify. In this case Vancouver. So you open that file up, and these usually are the files that are in there. Sometimes there's less, sometimes there's as many as these ones, but we are more only interested in these text files. You see, text document. Text documents are the ones that we can change, and we will not get into any trouble with the developers. So this is basically what you're looking at. So let's move this one away, because we do not use, I don't use Steam, but I do have that prepared for you. I am using Steam. So basically any airport that you buy, you can use through Steam as well. You can buy, so you can, you can buy the game at Feel There, and you can use it for Feel There, going through Feel There, or you can download it and load it through, or install it through Steam. And that's what I basically do as well. Is when you install it, you need to show the path. And the path that you would have to install in, if you did Steam and it doesn't give you the option, you will do the same situation. You go to your disk, program files, Steam, Steam apps, common, Tower 3D Pro. That's it, normal. Okay, so only until this case here, you would change the folder. The original folder will always be the Feel There one, but you can just change it by yourself and change it into this situation up until Tower 3D Pro, and then you install it under that, and then you have a Steam game. In this case, we will need to continue. Go into extensions, go into airfields, and choose the airport of your choice. In this case, the brand new Honolulu, Oahu, Hawaii airport that has just been released, and I hope you've seen my video on that one and hope you have enjoyed it. And also you are able to buy that airport through my channel. There's a link down below, and if you do so, that would be great. It'll help my channel, and it'll show me that you guys are ready to share some love. Okay, let's get back into this, so let's not make it too long. Anyway, again, here we do have the same situation as we had here with the Vancouver one. We have airfield, airfield manifest, airlines, airplanes, airports, databases, manifest, general aviation and local traffic, GA and local traffic. Then we have the menu manifest, schedule, terminal, and GA operations. So there's actually one extra one here, but we are really interested in is terminal, schedule, GA and local traffic, and maybe airports, maybe airplanes, maybe airlines, but not really. If we want to keep it as it is, the given given schedule and files that are being given to you when you buy this are perfectly okay, and if you're happy with them, you just choose your hour and you play. But if you say, no, I want a different challenge, I just want to, you know, make things a little bit more interesting, and I want to see what TP does, and he has high volume schedules, and I want high volume as well, but you know, everything that we have here is just not as much. So if we have a look here, this basically is the schedule that we have down here. Since there's only 1 kilobyte here, this is not correct. Yours will have a higher kilobyte, probably around about, well, depending on the airport, somewhere between 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 kilobytes and kilobit, and therefore, no, kilobytes, and therefore this would be higher. This is low because I've already started to prepare a schedule to get everything ready for you guys. Anyway, this is the original Honolulu schedule that you have been receiving when you bought the game, and you will have 400 and let's have a look. See all the way to the bottom, and you see there's 436 movements with arrivals and departures. Anything that is Honolulu on the left hand side shows this aircraft is an aircraft that will be departing, and on the top half you will have Honolulu on the second part, and therefore this is an arriving aircraft. And basically this is what I do. The important part is if you use the schedule that is included in the game, then you don't need to change anything, nothing at all. All you do is change the schedule, and then you have higher volume. If you try to put in new aircrafts that have never been there before, then you will have to change other parts as well. Let's take the terminal, for example. We have the terminal. When you open that terminal file up, this is what you'll be getting. You will be seeing the all different terminals. In this case here, lots of cargo here. The cargo military, that's the one around where the army aircrafts are. GA is the terminal for general aviation. So wherever there it says GA here, this is where GAs will actually park. And that would be this one here, the GA and local traffic file. So to have a look at that GA and local traffic file, that's this one that we have over here. This is the original one for Honolulu, and there you can see that these are just all arrivals, because you have Honolulu on the right hand side, and on the left hand side you have some departures, not that many. The time on when these actually would depart, roundabout, give or take a minute or two, depending on the volume that you have. If there are other traffic at the same time at the same minute, that may just push it back a little bit. On the other hand, you can see here the approximate arrivals on when they will be coming onto your screen for you to be available. This part here is the flight numbers. You don't worry about any of these. Do not be careful if you copy any, change anything, whatever you do. If you make mistakes, your game won't load. You will stop by probably about 63%. I think the 63% is usually a mistake somewhere on your schedule. Whether it be here, whether it be the regular schedule, you would have to find out. It could be that a comma is a semicolon, or you missed the comma. You need to write down, if you have, say, a number below, below 10, you would need to write not 7:53 in the morning, you would have to write 07:53 in the morning. There always has to be 12 o'clock on the right hand side for any arriving aircraft, and on the left hand side, if the clock is on the left hand side, the 12 o'clock, then it is an arriving, and therefore you're be able to change the right hand side to modify. We'll do that in a couple of seconds, bit by bit. Anyway, over here in the general aviation areas is where you have your flights, and whatever is highlighted here on the right hand side will be the command that would be needed to assign an aircraft to. So we have here November 3668 Lima. You don't say the N in general aviation. Therefore, usually, but sometimes you do. Some airports have been done that the November is in there, or some European countries, whatever, and then you would have to say November 3668 Lima. In this case, it is just 3668 Lima, and therefore, whenever that aircraft comes up, this is what you would have to tell him for him to understand that you're actually talking to him. The same situation you have that with the aircrafts, and that is this file here. That is the file Airlines. You find that here, Airlines. So if you open that one up, you will see all the airlines for that airport, not for every airport. You really need to be careful. Every different airport may have different airlines in here. So true, usually they add, the developers add new aircrafts to the list, so you could go and say, oh well, if I have Honolulu, I have them all. Not necessarily. It could be that there may be one or two or whatever missing, and if these are, for example, in Paris, because in Paris there is Alaska is not needed in Paris, or Copa or something like that, these will never land in Europe. It may be that they may not be on the list, and therefore the game may not load, even though you put a flight, you've copied like a schedule from Honolulu to Frankfurt, because you thought, well, Hawaiian, so many Hawaiians, I would like to have them all in Frankfurt. That of course is possible. I will show you that in a minute. So you could basically build yourself aircrafts and airlines to a airport that that just totally doesn't exist. So that is all possible, and it may be good fun. However, it's a lot of work. But if you feel like you want to do that, go ahead and be my guest. Same situation as with the GAs, where you see these letters need to be large. There needs to be a space in between there, no commas, no nothing, but these need to be large letters, otherwise that won't work. Here, same thing, airlines. You have ACA, of course, is Air Canada, and the call sign, whenever you will see the airplane coming up, wanting to depart or arrive, will be Air Canada. Air Canada 225, Air France 268, New Zealand, whatever. So if I was to change this Air Canada to TP Gaming, then whenever ACA would come up, in reality, I would have to actually say TP Gaming with a flight number for him to know that I'm actually talking to him. So this is basically what I have done to the Sam F party trip to Vegas situation. I have taken a general aviation aircraft. I have chosen the type of aircraft. Like you see here, there's Cessnas and all sorts of different aircraft, and I've chosen one which sort of makes it good and have a good party trip to do on. And then I have changed this in the back. No, just this 6243 Quebec. I changed that into Sam F's party jet, and then whenever that plane came up and I put it into the schedule, of course I need to look out for the clock, for the time on where it's going to be. That is actually what I did. So you could say, okay, Air Berlin doesn't exist anymore, I will call it PK Mega, whatever. And then PK Mega all of a sudden has his own airlines with a livery of Air Berlin. One of these things. But if you feel like you want to do that, if you want to go and change all these original ones to make fake ones, Mama Airlines, Papa Airlines, Grandma Airlines, Uncle Airlines, that's what you can do. You just got to remember, or maybe copy and paste this onto an Excel file or Word document, so you will just know when they come up that this is what you need to call them. Otherwise they're not going to work. Okay, yeah, so basically this is how you modify aircrafts to your personal ideas. And if you want to do that, you can do that, and that is not a problem. Change only the big letters, the large letters. Do not change anything in the back here. That is totally not interesting at all. Do not change anything up the front here. Leave that. If you change any of this, it most probably won't work. It won't load. You can only change the call sign. Importantly is, if you, for example, say in Honolulu over here, we do not have, what don't we have? Let's think of what an airline, Lufthansa, let's say Lufthansa. Lufthansa doesn't land, so okay. You do not have Lufthansa here, but you say, well, I'm a big fan of Lufthansa and I want the Lufthansa Big 8 A380, I would like it to land. What you need to do is have a look and see the airlines that are available, check them out and see if Lufthansa is in the list. That doesn't mean it's in the list for the schedules to land there. It just shows it is in the list, so it could possibly land there or depart or whatever. Then you go down, 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 and all of a sudden somewhere will be most probably, what do we have here? Let's have a look. Help, view, format. What do we got here? Search. Do we have a search? Find. Here's find. And then you would just go. What I'm doing here. DHL. Find, and then you see. Okay, we have DHK World, Limited Express. Is there more? There's no Lufthansa. Okay, there's no Lufthansa here. Okay, that's actually a good example. You would then find next. Next. Nope, nothing. Okay, no more Lufthansa. So in this case, Lufthansa will not be able to land here. Even though if you would put it in a schedule, it won't come because it doesn't exist. Therefore, you would have to add in the airlines notepad in here, you would have to enter all the codes necessary that you would need for Lufthansa, which would of course be DLH, LH, Lufthansa, and then you can just write down Lufthansa Germany. Then this you would need to save it, of course. And therefore you would add the opportunity to have Lufthansa arrive at the airport of Honolulu. But right now, Lufthansa does not have any spot anywhere at the airport to where he's going to stand whilst he has arrived. Or if he wants to depart and the game starts and you need him to find where that is. Okay, what you do there is you need to go into the terminal file. Into the terminal file, you can just choose a terminal. Usually you would not take a cargo terminal. You could, but you want to be careful. It may not work. And on the other hand, you wouldn't want a passenger aircraft sitting at the cargo gates. Anyway, you would then choose a terminal. You would need to find out on whether the terminal is capable of handling that aircraft. If you, of course, have, like here, where you just have many already been included, and you would know and say, okay, Speedbird, that would be a large aircraft, Korean Airlines, large aircraft, United, Emirates, large aircrafts, then you can just add Lufthansa to it. What you would do is make a comma, and then you would write DHL for Lufthansa. And that, then of course, you would have to save this. And now, at Terminal 2D, Lufthansa would be sitting at the Honolulu airport. Now, that would be, I believe, somewhere around this area here. We'll see that a little later on. We will program a Lufthansa flight to see if it's going to come. So, what we do is next is we need to find out on whether this aircraft that we would like to add to the timetable is actually one that is available. And for that you would need the airplanes file. That's this one here, the airplanes file. And that shows a list of all aircrafts that have been programmed to land at Honolulu Airport. So a whole bunch of them. And if you take nothing dramatic, but in this case we wanted to have the A388 and 380-800 Airbus, the large one, then we would see, yes, it's included here. Excellent. Perfect. Really good. There is, of course, another file that exists, a so-called master list, where you could see which aircraft actually has a livery within the game. You will find out, usually if you use these standard ones and then have Lufthansa, where everybody knows Lufthansa does have A380s 800, then of course you can use that. You would not write over here on this schedule list here. You have, let me get this is the old one, so this is the original one. Let me just grab a new one. So this is one that I've already started to prepare. That is the one that we have in here with only 1 kilobyte. So let me just get this on top of this here. Now we would start programming a schedule where we would just go and say, okay, we would like our Lufthansa flight, and our Lufthansa flight in this case has come from Frankfurt. So we now have an arriving aircraft, comma, space. He's arriving at Honolulu, comma. And now we need to, in the next line, is the aircraft that we need. So we're looking at our list and we say, okay, we want the A380-800, that's this one here, and then the second line is the one that is important, the 388. Therefore we go in 388 is our aircraft, comma again, and for the next one is the 2-letter code that you would need for the airline. In this case, Lufthansa is LH. We can give it a flight number that exists or doesn't exist. You can go to flight 24 and find out whatever. Let's just call this one here Lufthansa 1000. Doesn't exist because we're just building it for this airport. And then we have the clock, and of course this being an arriving aircraft, therefore the left hand side of the time would need to be changed. So we'll make it 13, make it 00, comma. Right hand side of course needs to be 12 o'clock. That's just, it just needs to be like that. The 1, I have no idea what the 1 is for, leave it, and LH again in the end. So therefore we right now have an arriving aircraft, the A388, landing at Honolulu at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Finished. That's it. If you say, okay, now we want this aircraft or any aircraft to depart as well, either depart before it arrives or the other way around, because you just need to switch things around. Of course, you would start with Honolulu, because Honolulu is where the airport is now sitting. And he wants to go to Frankfurt back. Again, we have the 388. We are still at Lufthansa. Of course, now we need to give it a different number, 01. That was my mistake in a couple of videos, that I always had the same number, and that stuffed me up. Now we have a departure, meaning we have 12 o'clock in the front. And now we are deciding that this aircraft needs to, well, what does he want to do? He wants to leave. What time does he want to leave? Maybe he wants to leave at the same time the other one arrives, so you will not have any gate conflicts. If you may just have a certain amount of heavy aircraft, or super in this case, that can sit at a certain terminal, and therefore you just want to be careful that you don't write down 5 or 6, 7, 8 supers and heavies there when the terminal is only made for smaller or medium aircrafts. If you ever watch my videos, you will see in the modification, in the modified versions, that you have a /L/M//H and /S behind the flight number. this is what I'm actually talking about. There you can see how large these aircrafts are and why there are just certain places at the airport where they can actually sit. So right now we have a Lufthansa flight coming in and it's going out, and this would be pretty much a finished situation. And you can add and add and add and add and add, make timetables as huge as you would like. Again, what I've just done, I needed to have a look at the airplanes file. I had to look, no, not there, but I had to look at the airlines file to see if it exists. I needed to change the terminal because of the Lufthansa not existing, needing to give it a terminal. You can give let them sit everywhere. You can just copy it to everywhere, but every airline, of course, would be sitting everywhere, and that just doesn't make sense. If you have like Hawaiian at a couple of terminals here, then they will be sitting too nicely snug together, and you would want to keep the other ones within themselves as well. I mean, if you guys ever go to the airport, you don't want to go and say, okay, Terminal 1 is in Frankfurt is American Airlines, and Terminal 2 is American Airlines, and 3 is American Airlines, or A, B, C, D, E, whatever. You don't want to do that. You want to keep it together so it stays nice. But, of course, you can do whatever you want. You can change these and have lots of fun with them. However, be careful. Use the commas and concentrate. Keep it nice and tidy. There doesn't need to be a gap here between these two. You can write, have that right behind each other. You can do that. But just keep it as like this. The computer, the game understands it this way, and therefore you will be able to see that everything is working fine, everything is straight. You can see all the commas are there, that you didn't miss one. So you can just sort of do that. You may just want to keep all the departing aircrafts together and all the the arrivals together as well. So you can, if you change the times on these, and this is what I'm going to be doing in a minute. Let me, I'll do this. I'll just take this all away, and then we will start building a schedule. So we have, where's this one? I'll take this over here. Now, we have our original schedule. Very, very importantly is before you change anything, make a copy of this. Okay? Highlight it, copy it to wherever, right? Put it somewhere on your computer. Go in here, folder, and say PHNL original, and then go in here, right click, copy, go in here, right click, paste. They're all there. And now you can change anything in here. And if anything goes wrong, anything at all, you just delete all this, get your original, put it back in here, and then you're all good again. So whenever you want to change anything, this is your first thing that you need to do. Don't forget it, because once these files are gone, you would have to re-download the game again, and it's just a pain. This can be done so much easier, especially when you do it like I do, change the schedules all the time or making new things. So this is what you really want to do. All right, now let's get back to our schedule here. Now I've already added a few things for everybody on Monday to see. And now I would like to add some more aircrafts that I want to use. And I am going to choose, like, say, okay, here we got 8 o'clock and 7 o'clock and 6 o'clock. There's just not that much happening. But I would like to make a schedule where there's going to be lots of action. So I'm going to paste these. I'm going to mark these, copy them, go into this area here. Be careful, sometimes you're still here, and when you copy it, it'll go behind it. So make sure that you press the enter button so the flashing is up the front. Right click, paste, and now all of a sudden we have some more flights. Now these are all departures, and these all have weird time schedules. Of course, we need to change these. So right now we are here at 1 o'clock for our schedule, and we would like to come at 1 o'clock. So we would just have to change these all one by one, and I'm just going to do this quickly. Oh, bear with me. Where are we now? Easy boy. Okay, so we have changed the hour, and now we can change the minutes. We don't have to change anything at all. We are using the schedule from Honolulu, so we do not, repeat, we do not have to change the terminal files, because all these aircrafts lined in here are in here. Okay? Even though these have 3-letter numbers and you wouldn't know what's A and A, well, you will need to find out. See, like AA is American Airlines, but some of them you just don't have a clue. United Airlines, Hawaiian, Alaska, Delta, Lufthansa. So you would need to find out what the 2-letter for each of these 3 letters is. You can find them in the internet, or you can find them in the forums as well, but I'm not going to get into that right now. So now we want to get a schedule where we go and say, okay, we want a very easygoing schedule or whatever. Then we would go and say, okay, I will start at 1 o'clock, and we would like to do every 2 minutes. We would like a departure. But you could also say, no, at 1:15 I want action. Oops. I want action like crazy. I really want like 6 departures in very short time. So you can do all that. Don't overdo it. 3 is pretty much the max that you should do. Otherwise, because these are just going to light up all at the same time, and if they are sitting at the terminal where it's very tight and all that so forth, it's just going to be very, very difficult for them to all push back, and you may get penalized for Los Angeles, for example, where it's very tight, that once the aircraft is out, you can push the next one out, and as soon as 15 minutes has gone by, you will be penalized. Okay, so, and but if you're happy with the rest of this all, then you can leave it. Then you would go down the list here, and you would go and say, no, these are arrivals, so let's go up the list, and here we have our arrivals, and then we'll just choose, I'm just going to choose a few here, highlight them, copy them, go over here, go the next line here, and paste. Now you can see Honolulu is on the second page, here on the second line. So these are the arrivals from the cities. And again, now we have the 12 o'clock on the right-hand side. Important, do not change the right-hand side. It's not going to work. So you always have to have the 12 o'clock on the left-hand side for departures, on the right-hand side for arrivals. And then we already have, oh, that's already 1 o'clock, so that's good. And we may just go and say, okay, we're fine. These are just sometimes just not that many at the moment, but again, of course, you would be doing longer schedules. So here we are. You'll be looking, having a look, and see you've got 37 movements right now, and you could, of course, you could add this up to 100 or 200 or whatever. But of course, the airport only has so many terminals, and only has so many parking spaces, and only so many parking spaces for certain aircrafts at the terminal. So by any chance, if you would pick like all Hawaiians, well, other terminals would be empty, because as you can see here at the terminal file, only terminal A1, A2 and C actually have the Hawaiian logo here, where aircrafts could be sitting. But at B, D, E, F, G, these will all be deserted. So you would have to add HAL, 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 and then of course you make 120 aircrafts. Way too many that there would be any room for, but if you're lucky, most of them will be pretty much filled up. If they're not filled up, the reason is you just have too many heavy aircrafts or medium aircrafts, and didn't fill up the small aircrafts with the L, so the so-called Ls. So that is how you create your own schedule. Of course, you would now save the file, and let me just check. We've got this one here, we've got this one here, and yes, we would save it. Now we have saved. Have we saved this? I'm not sure. We probably did. You have to save every file that you have done modifications on. Remember, we changed the DHL here. All right. So let me just take something out, because I am not going to spoiler for you what's going to come on Monday, because you'll be seeing this on Sunday, at least those people who've been here the first time. And okay, now let's save the whole situation again, and we have 1 o'clock. Everything is happening at 1 o'clock, and we will have our Lufthansa 388 flight immediately. So let's open up the tower. We have a runway. We'll be choosing runway 8 left for arrivals here, and we are here at the Daniel K. Inouye International Airport. Clear weather, of course. We are in Hawaii, and then we shall start the game. And if all goes well, this will eventually go up to 100%. Yes, it does take quite a while, some time. Yeah, it's just when you change a lot of things, or computer-wise and whatever-wise, this is just how it is, unfortunately. But I guess you all know that yourselves. Eventually, when I put in 25 cents, usually it will start. So I will put that in right now. Where is it? Where's my money? Oh, there is my money, and now it's processing, hopefully, and we'll get going. If it doesn't get going, then of course you've made a mistake. But here we go. It's finally starting, and it's looking good. Looking very
Honolulu
good.
ground. Sawtooth 2598 request pushback.
Okay, and so let's. What do we got? We got any aircrafts? Nothing in the vicinity as yet. But what we could do is we can do a little fly around to see the aircrafts that we have actually programmed. Let me just pause this here, and then we can see we've got a couple of aircrafts here. We should have the one Lufthansa should be here. Remember, we put it in, but it seems it didn't work out. So I think I've picked a a terminal where the A380 just can't land, unfortunately, because the airport is not necessarily set out for that. Well, that's a shame, but that's good, because then we've tested it, and it's certainly not here in the cargo area, I believe. Nope, 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 nope. Okay, good, no problem. What do? Is we quit the whole situation, take it out, and we will, come on, and we will grab our terminal file. We will decide that Lufthansa is not going to be here. We're going to put Lufthansa, where are we going to put them? We are going to put them out here at the cargo area, and put them in the cargo area because there's plenty of room there for this large one. I do not know all the heavies and supers and all that so forth, so it could have been somewhere else. I have no idea where. WestJet is on the side. That could actually work out as well. DHL, we'll give him two options where he could park. So we'll save again, and let's, where are we? And let's start it all over and see if it's going to work now. Standing by here. Oh wow, we're already at 40 minutes here. I hope you're still with me. And if you're not, you just got a you just got TP Gaming talking to you, and if you're already gone, then I'll be doing the same thing as usual, be talking to myself, hoping that somebody may listen. Hopefully it's not going to take too long now. and then we should be good. See, and this is basically quite easy, that you could change your schedule, build your own schedules. You would go and say, oh, you know, I'm taking the schedule from Atlanta, and I'll be taking that all over to the other one, to Los Angeles, for example.
Honolulu ground. Sawtooth 25908 request pushback.
And let's have a look. Let's see. See. Is it down there? Nothing down there at all. Wow. Okay. That's a shame. So unfortunately that didn't work out. Ooh, very good example, TP. Well done. And it's not here in this cargo area either. Okay. So we made a mistake somewhere. No, I did. And we need to find out where. Don't know exactly where to look at the moment, because usually I would have thought so. We have Lufthansa, got 388s. Okay, I am an idiot. You guys would have known it immediately, of course, that Lufthansa is not DHL, but DLH. Now, this is the mistake. Sorry about this, and this is a German. How that is sad. That is very, very sad. Okay, doesn't matter. Part of the show. I did that on purpose just to keep you with me here for a while. Yes, DHL, of course, being the parcel from the it's a parcel company, and well, these things. Oh well, come on. Anyway, this should work now. But as you can see, these are the mistakes that can happen, even to somebody who's been doing it so many times. So that does happen, and then all of a sudden, even though the game starts, you do not find your plane. And usually it's tiny things like that. You just switched something around, or just missed a letter, you know, swap them around. So that's actually, maybe that's even a very, very good example on what can actually happen.
Honolulu ground. Sawtooth 25908 request pushback.
And if all goes well, we should have the aircraft. There it is, sitting down there. Let's have a look and see. Yeah, well, it's got to be, if it's not there, then it's got to be at the terminal, of course. If it's not at the terminal, it's got to be here, and this is where it is. And as you guys can now see, we have a, yay, A380 Lufthansa has arrived at Honolulu Airport. And also you will see that we will have the arrival coming in as well. So let's speed things up very, very quickly, and then we shall have the arrival of the
Honolulu
Lufthansa.
ground.
Here he is.
Hawaiian 180 request pushback.
And
Honolulu ground. Lufthansa 1001 super request pushback.
Honolulu tower. Lufthansa 1000 super with you runway 8 left. Honolulu ground. Giant tree 719er heavy request pushback.
Honolulu ground. Ohana 672 request pushback.
On, and we lock
Honolulu
it.
tower. United 2380 with you runway 8 left.
And we shall lock it, and that'll give us the opportunity. Actually, we need to give them a landing clearance. We should do that, otherwise it's not going to work. So we're going to do something really nice. Lufthansa 1000, runway 8 left, clear to land, wind is 347 at 1 knots. Did you hear us? No. Lufthansa 1000 super, runway 8 left, clear to land, wind is 347 at 1 knots.
Runway 8 left,
Okay.
cleared to land. Lufthansa 1000 super.
Okay, let's look them up. And we have now, we're going to go and fly over to the wonderful aircraft here. Look at this here. Now, isn't that nice?
Honolulu ground. American 8 heavy request
Live
pushback.
arrival of the first A380 from Lufthansa at the Daniel K. Inouye International Airport. Look at this. Wow. Putting down. Okay, everybody. Ooh, look at all the dust here. So you've got a terminal on the left-hand side. And coming in. Oh no, Lufthansa. arrival from Frankfurt. Okay, everybody, I hope that pretty much gave you an idea on how to modify your own schedules. If you have any more questions, do feel free to ask me. If you are embarrassed to ask me questions because you think the others are going to laugh about you in the comment section, you can go into my channel and there is an email address in there where you can find out and you can write me a personal message. So, until the next time, everybody, this has been another presentation of TP Gaming. You guys take care, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. If you have enjoyed this, please subscribe, hit the like button, click the notification bell, and press the... what do we do? Yeah, put a comment down below. Thank you very much, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.